Let's move on to Cody Rhodes, Justin Joint. Cody still making all of the headlines in WWE. Now he's about 2 weeks into his run, so it hasn't been too long, but he's made a lot of television appearances. And I don't know about you, but we've been pretty negative on WWE in recent months, maybe recent years. But other times we've been very positive on WWE. It just depends, what they're doing. They've deserved the criticism in recent years. But for me, when I'm checking out WWE television right now, it's mostly to check out Cody. Would that be the case for you?
1000%. I watched the Raw after Mania just for Cody. As soon as
Mm-hmm.
he was done, turned it off. Don't care. Just want to see what they're going to do with him. He's become must watch TV, if only because of something I saw you have in the notes there that they're doing with him.
Yes, what's interesting about this is you see all the warring factions on social media, the WWE fans, the AEW fans. Now we wouldn't like align ourselves with those factions. We're professionals. We just criticize and we praise what deserves to be
AEW,
criticized and praised.
AEW, AEW.
We want both promotions to be good because we do a
Yes.
podcast and we would like to have a lot of good stuff to talk about. So what's interesting about Cody though is you see all these discussions going on and people saying, "Oh, look how dumb AEW is that they let this guy get away," and he's a bigger star in WWE than he'd ever be in AEW. All this stupid stuff. But the thing about it is everything that is working for Cody right now is basically giving credence to the success of AEW. Like it is legitimizing AEW. Everything about Cody, from his theme song to his logo to his ring gear, just his look in general, that none of that is a WWE creation. So when the crowd reacts to him louder than anybody on the WWE shows, which is the case right now, what does that say for WWE? Because they're reacting to something that wasn't created under their umbrella. It shows you that Cody was right to bet on himself, and he created this character himself. Also, what does it say about the WWE theme song department, by the way? That Cody, like, by far has the best theme song on the roster. And that was not created by WWE. That was that downstate band that created the song. And it's by far, I've seen like comments on social media about, "Oh man, Cody Rhodes has the best wrestling theme already." And like, already, he's been using this theme for years. Where have you guys been? But it's the theme he was using on the independents and then with AEW, and he brings it to WWE. It's the best theme song in the company. And so it shows that Cody knew what he was doing. But like, how long, what I'm interested in, maybe a little sadistically here, is like, how long does WWE let him be elevated above their own creations? Now, it's to their benefit to elevate him and to continue to push him. And to their credit, they are letting him be like the prime thing on Monday Night Raw right now. But we also know what the history of this company is. And when you have stars that were created elsewhere or not by them, they always seem to have an agenda against that. And we haven't seen that happen yet with Cody, and I hope we don't, because they need to keep this momentum rolling. But that to me is going to be interesting how this plays out long term, because they're pushing a guy that they didn't create. What are your thoughts on that, Justin?
Yeah, that was, all the excitement. It was basically a sure thing, at least as far as you and me were concerned, was that he was going to be at WrestleMania to be Seth Rollins' opponent.
Yep.
The big question was, what was he going to look like? Were they going to let him have the music that says the word wrestling at the very beginning of the song? And they did. As you said, they let him do the Cody Rhodes package from the quote unquote indies, the
Mm-hmm.
thing that he built himself. And is, I totally agree with you, is the big question mark, how long does it at least appear on screen that he is having some creative input, or at the very least, how long does he, or is he able to come off as this kind of outsider
Mm-hmm.
compared to with all the other guys? And I think the big factor when it comes to that is how long before he gets his title shot. they gave us the Rollins match at WrestleMania, which was good. Although, as mentioned in the review, I didn't like that it felt like the third match in a trilogy. I did not watch the most recent Raw because I couldn't give two shits about seeing him wrestle Miz, and I just knew that it was going to be some long competitive match against somebody who, I'm sorry, is a mid-carder on WWE. So, they're already, for me, losing some of their steam. I'm pretty sure at WrestleMania Backlash, he's going to have the rematch with Rollins. Now, things get interesting after that because I believe after that is Hell in a Cell, and that's in Chicago, which is known for a hot crowd. So, and after that is Money in the Bank, which is at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, a big stadium show. I think they have to pull the trigger on him being the one to dethrone Roman Reigns, even if it is just for like 3 or 4 months, and those dumbasses want to put it back on Roman so that The Rock can beat him at WrestleMania 39 or whatever dumb shit they're going to do there. My personal opinion, Roman doesn't need the title anymore. He's a big star. I would love to see Roman versus Rock at WrestleMania. Doesn't need to be for the title. They can just do it for who's the big chief or whatever. And yeah, let's give Cody that big title run. I was trying to see what in the next 6 months, if they're running any big Madison Square Garden shows, because that would be a kind of a cool place for him to win the title. But they have beaten me down, they as in WWE. So I am very pessimistic about them pulling the trigger on an early Cody Rhodes title run, not a year from now.
Yeah. They are running the Garden on July 25th. I don't know if that's TV or not. I just know the date from this calendar I'm looking at of all their 2022 dates, and they're running again like the day after Christmas. So July 25th.
That is 5 days before SummerSlam.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Is that Raw?
That makes sense. Because this says July 30th.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
They're doing a early SummerSlam. That's right. So that must be Raw then, right? Is SummerSlam on a Saturday?
It must be. It's got to be.
Yeah. So July 25th is a Monday. So probably not going to do that because I'll have a big match for SummerSlam schedule. But I agree with you, and I think I'm glad you agree with me. Was that the show you were on? Was that our night one review where we brought this up? And I think I said to Kyle on that show, I think they got to have Cody challenge sooner rather than later. And I think I said, out of necessity, who else do they have? And I even said kind of what you said, that I think he's got to win the title to legitimize him. I think you got to have a new top guy. Roman has run through everybody over the last couple of years. He can't hold the title all the way until next WrestleMania. It'll just be too stale. It's already stale. You got to do something to shake it up. And Cody's the hottest guy in the promotion outside of Roman right now. And, if they keep rolling with it, again, it's going to be interesting because he's not a WWE creation. I mean, okay, look at Raw. Who feels like a bigger deal right now, Cody Rhodes or Kevin Owens, who just worked with Steve Austin?
Who is now working with Ezekiel.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Exactly. Like Cody is the biggest thing going. Again, he's not their creation, but it's working, and you got to roll with the hot hand. And he's got so much momentum right now, man. And if they can continue, now I agree with you. When I saw he was going to work Miz, I was a little worried because, Miz was world champion on WrestleMania 11 years ago. He has been around so long. Doing mostly nothing. Now we gave him big props. God, this was 4 or 5 years ago on this podcast when he was doing the great heel work. It was a long time ago. But since then, he definitely is solidified as a mid-carder. Rollins, I hate the character he does right now. When he came out Monday night for that match and did the dancing and the freaking laugh, I'm cringing, but you know what? A lot of the audience likes it. I mean, they sing along to his theme song. So what I don't like it's like channel changing heat to me. But
Hopefully he moved to the other side of the Quad Cities. We don't want him to be associated with Iowa anymore.
Yeah. So, but I mean, Rollins is a star. He's a bigger star, you know, on the tiers than the Miz is, I would
Yep.
say. And so, yeah, he debuts against him. They have a pretty good match. He wins clean. They're going to have the rematch. They better not pull that 50-50 shit here. Cody better beat him. They better not have Seth Rollins win that match. The match he had this week that you said you didn't see yet, Monday with The Miz, was not great. It was very WWE style. There was a lot of rest holds. There was chin locks. There was headlocks. He won clean, you know, at the Crossroads. Got a great reaction when he came out, but it was not the most exciting match. So,
and I knew that's how you just knew that's what it was going to be. And that's why we keep banging the drum. They've got to pull the trigger soon. Strike while the iron's hot. He is a big deal, and you can make him an even bigger deal by beating Roman. And why not? You've probably got him locked up for another 3 years or whatever. So you're gonna make a lot of money. Make another star. I dare you, Vince.
Plus, it's the story that they're running with. I mean, the first promo he did was about winning the world title, so why not? You know, that's if they do it 6 months from now, 8-9 months from now, people, I mean, wrestling fans got short memories, man. They might forget, especially in WWE where they want you to have a short memory. You know, like if they're going to introduce that as the rationale for why he came to the company, man, you gotta pull the trigger. I think you got to do it. We'll see, but I'm intrigued by it.
You definitely, I mean, would you agree you cannot wait any longer than SummerSlam? SummerSlam is the deadline.
I was going to give you an over-under using SummerSlam tonight, like SummerSlam or before or after SummerSlam, and I agree. That is the absolute latest you can do it. Mm-hmm. But they got, you know, intriguing options before then because they've got, as you mentioned, Money in the Bank in a stadium. They've got, was a Hell in a Cell in Chicago. Which is going to have a hot crowd, and Cody's, you know, bed in front of the Chicago crowds a lot. I don't know. Will they be booing him by then? That's the only worry in Chicago.
I think it means that I would be willing to bet, you know, it'll be a much more pro WWE crowd that would just be happy to see him compared with all the other WWE guys they've been seeing for the past 10 years. I'd be willing to bet he gets a good reaction.
Yeah, most likely. Crowd hasn't turned on him yet. Not showing any signs of turning on him so far. It's working. So, yeah, we'll go with the hot hand, I think. It'll be interesting to see what they do. But so far, Cody's 2-week run with WWE is going well. He's worked with people that are his friends so far. And I almost wonder, like, did he request to work with The Miz? You know, it's possible. And they go way back. They've been good friends. He's been friends with Seth. So, you know, so far he's worked with people he's very, very familiar and comfortable with. You know, we'll see how that changes when he gets in there with people that he hasn't been in the ring with before. You know, there's a lot of them there now. So we'll see. But you guys let us know what you think. Should they make Cody Rhodes WWE champion by SummerSlam? If not earlier, you can comment on the YouTube video. Send us email, topropenation@gmail.com. We'll read them on the air next week if you want to send us a long form response to that. Or, of course, you know, you can get involved in the Facebook group. Search Top Rope Nation Pro Wrestling Discussion, or the link is here in the podcast description.